Picture this, a glittering ballroom inside a royal palace. Chandeliers blazing with candlelight, gowns dripping with pearls, the sweet sound of violins echoing across marble walls. It looks perfect, almost magical, but now, lean closer. What do you smell? It isn't roses. It isn't wine, it's sweat. It's rotting teeth. It's hair crawling with lice. It's chamber pots overflowing in the corners, barely hidden by velvet curtains. This was the hidden reality of royal women. They weren't flawless goddesses. They weren't untouchable beings. They were prisoners in a world of filth, forced into hygiene rituals so disgusting, so bizarre, that today they'd make you gag. Perfumes weren't luxury. They were camouflage for stink. Makeup wasn't beauty. It was poison eating their skin alive, and bathing, forget it. Most queens believed touching water could kill them. So the next time you imagine a royal princess gliding through the palace like a fairy tale, remember this: she probably hadn't bathed in weeks. Her breath could curdle milk. And her wig? Likely crawling with insects. Today we're lifting the velvet curtain. We're stepping into the real palaces of Europe. Get ready for the 7 disgusting hygiene rituals royal women were forced to follow. And by the end, you'll never look at royalty the same way again. Pause, keys. Bathing was considered dangerous. In the modern world, a hot shower feels like heaven. But for royal women, water wasn't life, it was death. Doctors and priests warned them bathing opened your pores. And open pores invited sickness, sin, even the devil himself. So instead of scrubbing away filth, royal ladies rubbed their skin with cloths, dusted themselves with powders, and drowned in perfume. Imagine it. A queen enters a banquet hall. Her gown is golden. Her jewels sparkle like fire, but her skin, sticky with weeks of sweat. The smell of lavender water is so thick it chokes the servants behind her. And underneath that sweet cloud, the sour stench of flesh that hasn't seen soap in months. Ironically, the palaces had marble baths, silver tubs, even fountains carved from stone, but they stood empty. Because to these women, clean meant dangerous, and beauty, it was simply painted over rot. Pause, curiosity hook. Hair crawling with lice, you've seen the portraits. Hair piled high, powdered white. Jewels glittering in curls, stunning. From a distance, now get closer and hear the scratching. Because underneath all that powder, their hair was alive. Crawling with lice, these women wore wigs for weeks, never washed. Their real hair underneath? Greasy, matted, infested. Servants carried lice sticks to pluck insects from their scalps. Even in the middle of banquets, imagine it. A duchess smiles at a prince, while a bug creeps across her powdered forehead. Some women even slept upright to protect their elaborate wigs, sitting stiff as statues, while lice ran wild through the dusty flour that coated their hair. From across the room, it was elegance. Up close, it was infestation. Paused, rotten teeth and deadly tooth powders. Think royalty had pearly white smiles? Think again. Royal women brushed with powders made from eggshells, pumice, ashes, sometimes even mercury and lead. Yes, poison. The result? Bleeding gums, cracked enamel, mouths that reeked of metal and decay. And their diets made it worse. Sugar-heavy wines, candied fruits, pastries dripping with honey. Sugar was rare, expensive, and addictive. So rotten teeth became a twisted badge of wealth. In some courts, blackened smiles were admired. They proved you were rich enough to eat sugar every day. But the breath, servants wrote that standing close to certain queens was unbearable. Painted lips hid mouths slowly rotting from the inside out. Beauty that stank of decay. Pause, build suspense. Chamber pots in silk bedrooms. Now step into the royal bedroom. Velvet curtains, silk sheets, golden furniture, and in the corner, a decorated bowl, a chamber pot. Yes, queens relieved themselves right beside their beds. Servants carried the pots away in the morning, if they remembered. Imagine the smell. Waste sitting overnight, mixing with smoke from the fireplace. Trapped by heavy curtains. In summer it was worse. Heat, flies, a sour stench so thick you could taste it. And guests at court? They saw it all. Servants strolling through the palace, carrying bowls sloshing with the private waste of queens and duchesses. So yes, they slept on silk. But inches away, lay their own filth. Pause, cliffhanger tone. Perfume as soap. Perfume wasn't luxury. It was survival. Because when no one bathed, everyone stank. So royal women drowned themselves in rosewater, in musk, in ambergris scraped from the guts of whales. The scent wasn't subtle. It was overwhelming. A princess might walk through a hall trailing a fog of fragrance so heavy. It clung to the walls for hours. At feasts, it was unbearable. The smell of roasted meat, sweaty bodies, candle smoke, all coated in perfume so sweet it made you gag, but perfume didn't erase the smell. It only buried it, like spraying roses over a garbage heap. What we see today as elegance, crystal bottles, exotic oils, was really camouflage. Because underneath the fragrance, royal women smelled just as foul as the peasants outside their gates. Pause. Deadly makeup rituals, royal beauty came with a cost. And it was lethal. To get that ghostly white skin, women painted their faces with ceruse, a mix of vinegar and lead. Yes, lead. It looked flawless. But it poisoned their bodies. Over time, the lead left scars, sores, even baldness. And the solution? More makeup, layer upon layer until their faces were porcelain masks. From across the hall, they were stunning. Up close, you saw the cracks, the wounds, the infected flesh underneath. Some women glued on black patches, tiny stars or hearts. Not for fashion, but to cover rotting skin and the smell. A faint metallic tang clung to their pores. Imagine leaning in to kiss a queen's hand. And tasting poison, beauty was killing them, slowly and silently. Pause. Dramatic drop. 7. Menstrual myths and misery of all the rituals. This one may be the cruelest. Menstruation was feared, shamed, surrounded by superstition. Royal women were told not to touch plants, not to eat certain foods, because their unclean bodies would spoil them. Some believed menstrual blood carried evil. Others saw it as weakness and hygiene. Primitive at best, cloth rags, reused, rarely washed. The result? Infections, rashes, constant misery hidden under silks and jewels. Now imagine a queen on her throne, cramps twisting her body. Terrified her gown might stain in front of the entire court. No painkillers, no privacy, just humiliation. Even the most powerful women in the world were prisoners of their own biology. Pause, haunting tone, conclusion, glamour wrapped in filth. When we imagine royal women, we see diamonds. We see palaces. We see perfection, but the truth? That perfection stank. They didn't bathe. Their hair was infested. Their teeth rotted. Their bedrooms reeked of waste. Their perfume was camouflage. Their makeup was poison. And their bodies were treated as curses. Royalty wasn't glamorous. It was misery wrapped in silk and gold. Their portraits lied. Their jewels lied. Their beauty was a mask, painted, powdered, perfumed, poisoned. And behind it, they were human. Suffering. Rotting. Dying. So the next time you see a royal portrait, a flawless queen with porcelain skin and a gentle smile, remember the truth. Behind the paint, behind the perfume, behind the jewels and the silk, she probably smelled of sweat, of rot, of death. Final pause, fade to black.